several of these tips you guys can implement in your lives, especially if you're just feeling kind of drained of energy and just kind of worn out. Hey guys, Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I want to talk to you about 5 reasons that you might be tired, especially us guys over the age of 50. Now, I'm 61, and you may not believe it, but I've been suffering from exhaustion or just being tired and sleepy for 2 years. And I found out just fairly recently what was causing it. So that's going to be tip number 5. So stick around to the end of the video because you're going to be surprised at 2 major things that were messing up my body and causing me to feel tired all the time. All right, so is it common to feel tired after 50? Well, yes, but it's not normal. At least we don't want it to be normal, okay? We want to do basically everything we can to make it not a normal situation. So 5, these are kind of high level things I want you guys to consider. I'll give you a few details, especially when we get to number 5, which was kicking my ass for 2 years, literally. But hopefully I think several of these tips you guys can implement in your lives, especially if you're just feeling kind of drained of energy and just kind of worn out on a regular basis. I'm not talking about, you were up late or all night long doing something, working or just having fun or drinking with the guys and you crash the next day. I'm talking about you guys that are consistently tired, kind of day in and day out. So tip number 1 is going to surprise you. You actually might be drinking too much coffee, too much caffeine, just generally speaking. Some guys drink coffee and energy drinks, which have a lot of, caffeine in them. And believe it or not, a little bit of coffee, a cup or 2 a day is good for you. I mean, I drink probably at least 1, sometimes 2 cups a day. The problem is you guys that are drinking 3, 4, 5 cups a day, that caffeine starts to block a chemical in our body called adenosine. All right, well, adenosine is something that is kind of produced in the brain and it slowly builds up through the day, and adenosine actually makes you sleepy. So why would blocking adenosine with caffeine cause you to be sleepy? You'd think it would be the opposite. Well, it is the opposite up to a certain point. Then your body gets used to all this caffeine, all right? And when it metabolizes the caffeine, the adenosine has really built up in your bloodstream, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get kind of a wash of this sleepy drug that you naturally produce, and it's just too much. You end up crashing, all right? So one way to kind of avoid this is to cut back on your caffeine level, but the other thing is really straightforward. Drink water. Surprisingly, if you drink water before you have coffee, kind of after you drink coffee, it will really help prevent that kind of post 4-cup coffee crash. All right, number 2 is a biggie that we talk about all the time, and that is having low testosterone. Okay, what a bummer. So most men know that if we can get our testosterone levels up, it really helps with building muscle. Because testosterone is just the natural version of steroids. So the more you have, the easier it is to build muscle. But a lot of guys don't realize that it also makes it easier to burn fat. It helps your libido and it helps your energy levels. I mean, a ton with the energy. So kind of a real simple way to increase your T level is basically to do resistance training. That's why when people do my Fit After 50 program, that one of the benefits is not just losing fat and putting on a little muscle. A lot of guys see their testosterone level raise, and when I talk to them on Zoom interviews, they tell me, my gosh, my libido's better and my energy, I got just a lot more energy. That's almost ubiquitous across all the guys who start doing resistance training. And so that's a real kind of straightforward way, and you need to be doing it. Now there's another thing you can do that's really a lot easier than doing the resistance training, but you don't need to do it in lieu of. This is a supplement, basically. I'm talking about a testosterone boosting supplement. Real easy. You pop a couple pills in your mouth every day and you're done. All right. So I want you guys to at least try it. There's a link below this video. Okay. It's called Anabolic Reload. It's ours. It's a boosting supplement that we developed several years ago. And guys, It's not going to work for everybody, but it works for most men. And I can't predict in advance. It's hard to know. I think sometimes it's genetic. What are you genetically predisposed to? And I think it's also kind of nutrition based. So sometimes I think guys that are really eating fantastic and getting all the vitamins and minerals and all those other kind of things in their diets daily, they're probably not going to benefit as much from it as most of us who don't eat, really good, clean, healthy all the time. So click on the link below and it'll take you to our website is all. And just read the ingredients that are in there, because we spell out what we put in there and why it's in there, okay? And then continue to scroll down below that, and then you're going to see reviews, hundreds and hundreds of reviews. Just click on some of them, see what the other guys are saying who've tried the supplement. I mean, it's I don't know, maybe 90% overwhelmingly positive, 10% don't see results, and that's okay. If it doesn't work for you, just let us know. We'll refund your money. It's as simple and straightforward and risk-free as that. All right, number 3 is a little more difficult to pull off all the time, especially right now. I'm filming this in early February, okay? So it's gray and kind of cold outside and not real sunny, but if you can get some sunlight, guys, especially if you can do it on a regular basis. And I don't mean hanging out by the pool sunbathing for, 2 hours. I mean just get outside for 15 or 20 minutes in the sun. Really, really helps. So sun helps produce something in our brain called serotonin. Okay, and that's one of the hormones that gives us energy and makes us feel alert, all right, and happy and energetic. So some doctors, if you really, are having serious problems, they will prescribe, artificial sunlight. You can buy special kinds of lamps or lights to sit under, okay? But I know it affects me. Every winter, you see that kind of a general depression or malaise in the wintertime, kind of December, January, February, at least in Texas. For you guys that live way up north in the northern latitudes, man, it probably lasts 5 or 6 months for you guys. But so if you can get some sunlight, and if you're really feeling the effects of it, you might talk to a doctor and find out what kind of artificial sunlight you might want to try to help kind of boost your energy levels. All right, number 4, guys, is going to be the hardest, I think, and that is nutrition. Because nutrition is something you got to kind of think about all day long, every day, 7 days a week. It just kind of never goes away. So if we have deficiencies in our vitamins and minerals and other nutrients that we're kind of taking in on a regular basis, it definitely affects our energy levels, all right? And so, I'm not going to get into all the foods that you need to eat. There's a ton of other videos that Gary and I have both shot right here on this YouTube channel. Just type in the word nutrition in that search bar right next to the little magnifying glass. You'll get probably 20 videos with tons of great ideas on what to eat. But just generally speaking, if you're feeling tired all the time, working out, doing resistance training, and, really dialing in your nutrition will have a huge impact on your energy levels. And so things, as far as nutrition concerned, if you're eating a lot of processed carbohydrates, breads, pasta, those kind of things, if you're eating some refined sugar, I don't care whether it's candy or whether you're adding sugar to your coffee, fried foods, fried is a bummer too. And then too much alcohol. I'm not talking about a couple of drinks a week, but if you're drinking, maybe 3 glasses of wine a night, too much alcohol, all that can combine to really screw up your energy levels. All right, and the final one. I know this is going to sound obvious when it comes to improving your energy levels, but sleep. And I say it because I was having horrible sleep problems for at least 2 years. And I didn't know what was going on, okay? So 2 serious health issues I had that I didn't know about. And so, these might be affecting you guys, all right? Sleep apnea, all right? I talked to a friend of mine, a doctor friend, really smart guy, about this. And he said, Mark, there's no way you have sleep apnea. Because most people think it only affects people that are overweight guys, overweight girls, okay? So no, I have learned, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. You don't have to be overweight. You can be a professional athlete in your 20s and get sleep apnea. And so if you're dealing with that, I didn't know I had it. Okay. All I know is I woke up every morning and I was exhausted, tired. I'd have to take a nap or two during the day. It was weird. And then the other thing that was going on at the same time that I didn't know about was I had a bad heart. I was diagnosed with AFib just about 7 months ago. All right. So the AFib also makes you really tired and screws up your energy levels. Well, guess what? I had heart surgery 2 months ago. Yeah, 2 months ago. They went up a vein in my crotch and they did, this kind of cryoablation in your heart. They kill little areas in one of the chambers in your heart that's causing it to fire out of sync with the other chambers. Boom. I feel fantastic. That's all it was. All right. It was literally outpatient surgery. They sent me home that night. Now I was under for 4 hours and I was intubated. So it wasn't just routine, easy peasy surgery, but still a month after they did that, boom, my AFib's gone. So I can run now. I have way more energy. When I hit the gym and I do my resistance training, I don't get out of breath in between sets. I mean, for 2 years, I was gasping for breath after doing, like, especially on leg day, when I'm doing a big muscle group. I would have to, catch my breath for 2 minutes. So anyway, now I feel fantastic. It's only 2 months after my heart surgery. I'm back to normal. I can run, I can work out without just, keeling over and dying for oxygen. So 5 different things, guys. I hope you stuck around for that last one because, if I'm suffering from sleep apnea and AFib, I think I eat pretty well. I think I, keep myself in really good shape and I can still have these problems. And on top of that, when I went in for my sleep apnea test and I bought my CPAP machine, the guy that sold it to me told me he sees tons of professional athletes from Dallas, Texas, right here, coming in to buy those things. I'm talking about these guys are in their 20s and early 30s. They play for the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Mavericks, the Texas Ranger baseball team. And so, guys, apparently, I didn't know this, sleep apnea can really screw with anybody, no matter how good a shape you're in. Matter of fact, my nephew was diagnosed with it when he was 17 years old in high school, and the guy was on the gymnastics team. He didn't have an ounce of fat on him, and he's just brilliant, straight A student. So guys, get it checked out. You may be suffering from sleep apnea and didn't know it. And the other thing is, I didn't know I had a bad heart. I just knew I was out of breath, doing things that I didn't used to be out of breath doing. And I couldn't feel my heart racing. I couldn't feel anything in my chest. It was just an oxygen deprivation. All right. So, they hooked me up to an EKG machine, and within 10 seconds, they said, man, you got AFib. It was super simple. All right, guys. We're in our 50s, our 60s, our 70s now. Everybody has less energy, obviously, than we did when we were in our 20s. I get it. But there's lots of little things you can do and pay attention to at least minimize, this kind of slow downward trend that we all suffer from. And it's not just losing muscle, it's not just losing testosterone, it's losing our energy. And just pay attention, tweak a few things here and there, and I promise you will see a radical change in your energy levels. But remember, you got to stick with it and never give up on yourself.